Moving right along with the next segment, talking about Tom Brady. Of course, continuing on with the festivities of him having the honor of being inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame. No doubt about that, for all that he's done, in his career. Definitely an award and an honor well deserved by Tom Brady. But what was interesting about this was before he got through the festivities and everything that happened at Gillette Stadium, he actually spoke with Yahoo Sports about the quarterback development that is currently going on in the NFL and the levels before that in college and high school and all that sort of stuff. And he really went on a little bit of a tangent here that I thought was worth bringing up on today's show just because of how in-depth Tom Brady went on it. And I'll show you guys what he said on the screen, and I'll also read it to you guys to start off the discussion. I think the quarterbacking has gone backwards a little bit in the NFL. I don't think it's improved. I don't think the teaching's improved. I think maybe the physical fundamentals might be a little bit improved because there's better information out there for quarterbacks to study on mechanics. But I don't think quarterbacks really are field generals right now like they used to be. And he went on after that to talk about how he was brought up, earning his spot at Michigan up until his senior year, then being a late-round quarterback that was drafted and having to earn his way up again at the professional level. And once he got that opportunity, he was ready for it because he had been working pretty much his whole life to get his one opportunity. And he was never going to relinquish that because through his training, through his development, and throughout that entire process, he really detailed how it really heartened him. It taught him a lot, and that's why he attributed a lot of his success to that process, honoring that process, and being really a student of the game. And then he pointed out how young quarterbacks now really come into the NFL from a really simplified college-level offense and almost an over-reliance on the coaches to have control at that level. And why that is, Tom Brady continued on with his comments, and he said, I think now there's this try-to-control element from the sideline between the coaches where they want to have the control. And he also emphasized that you see this starting at an earlier age from the high school and college level. And that's really where he began his entire discord over this. I don't have all the quotes up there because he really went at length about this issue. But some of the main problems that he had with this was that I just mentioned that there's an over-reliance on coaching. That's one of the things he brought up, and that sort of stems from the new college environment that you see now, obviously with NIL, and he meaning Tom Brady, had this problem with players transferring a lot now. Nobody really honors the process anymore. You see it in college, and Tom Brady brought it up as well, mentioning how college players just really through high school with some of these big and impressive programs at the high school level are already transferring, moving to different programs, trying to find the best situation for them to play right away, not really honoring a commitment that they made to a school per se. A quarterback commits to, Ohio State. They have to earn their way up typically because the talent, especially at a school like Ohio State, Michigan, any of those big schools, it's very tough. You have to wait, buy your time, develop, get all the teachings that you can, and then once you're out there, you're ready for it. And he believes that that is sort of a dying trend, obviously, now that is going on in college and now transferring itself through the NFL because, like he says, quarterbacking, in his opinion, has gone backwards a little bit. These quarterbacks are coming in less prepared and less through this process of earning their way through something because now a lot of them want to just find a way to play. If they're not playing right away, they'll transfer to this other school, or they're looking for a better deal through NIL and through these other deals that are external factors in football that Tom Brady is clearly not a fan of. And also, it leads to more young quarterbacks really not being ready, obviously, once you're starting off in college, even at a high school level. If you're not playing right away, you move to this other school. If you're able to do it, obviously financially able to have the liberty to move around like that. And then you get to the college level, you're not playing right away. Even though you committed to playing there, you say, to heck with this, I'm going over to this program because I know I can play, and they might be giving me a little bit more money. And if you get drafted, that's great. Everybody celebrates it. But then once you get to the NFL, there's no more I'm going to move on to this team. I'm not playing here, so let me try this this other program out. There's no more of that. You signed a contract, and from that point on, these quarterbacks aren't ready for that mental hurdle. I believe as the biggest thing, because dealing with the hurdles and not really having the experience of getting knocked down, saying, all right, I'm not good enough right now, let me work on it, and let me get better as time goes on. Not being able to have that mindset from the get-go. Once you get into the NFL, it certainly, I would have to imagine, hits you like a train if you're not really prepared mentally to do that. You have all these things thrown at you, and how could you focus on leading 10 other guys out there as a quarterback, like Tom Brady emphasized, which is really the biggest problem with all of this, and some of the issues that he brought up. Also, how this isn't just on the players. Tom Brady continued. He really also emphasized the coaches and not also sticking around to build a culture as well. Instead, maybe taking other offers, better offers that offer more money at the college level, for example. But also, I thought it was really interesting that he pointed out social media as being a big proponent of these coaches not sticking around for a lot longer, because in his opinion, Tom Brady, he said that the pressures of social media on these coaches now more than ever, obviously in this new social media era that we all find ourselves in, he said that just increases the pressure to win. Everyone's always on them to get the results, get the wins, get the championships right away, and not really honoring the process of building a culture, building a team, getting better, earning your time there as a coach. Everybody wants the results in 2 to 3 years. Everyone wants a Houston Texans situation where 1 year, they stock up all these picks, they get through it with a couple of very good negotiations and very good trades to get a lot of picks that way through the draft. And people want it to turn around like the Texans in a year to 4 years and now be a playoff contender right away. You luckily, miraculously find a quarterback, you trade for a star wide receiver, and just like that, you're back in the playoff contention. That's not realistic at all. And that's another problem Tom Brady sees with it. I thought it was interesting, like I said, to mention social media as a really driving point for all of this. And it really does lead to coaches getting fired at the end of the day, because with this pressure, not just on the coaches to perform, but on the organizations also to, get the coaches to perform better. How long are you going to keep them around, and sort of stuff like that, all really makes an impact on these decisions and building a quarterback, coaching that quarterback as well. If he's not ready and the coach also just wants to keep his job, no one's going to be in the right mindset to try and win, try to develop each other the right way and build this team the right way. And that's a problem that now I mentioned all these issues that Tom Brady brings up and how I've also talked about it. What could be a solution to this? That's the question. And if there were a solution, I think a lot of people would be talking about it. But for now, my best solution, my best answer I could give to this would be, more coaches, more organizations just embracing the idea of the time, the effort of just building instead of getting the results right away. And that, I guess, is just a product of the culture, the era that we find ourselves in with social media and everybody having an opinion and talking about something, everybody comparing eras, players to players and things like that. I really feel like it's just become more about how many championships or how many awards does one team have, how many awards does one player have, over rather who's really getting developed more and more. It's a championship or bust culture that does not really validate anything else but just the trophies currently, and how you earn it has really fallen beneath just how many a team has. A super team, for example, versus one organization and one team all of your career really don't stack up anymore. I think once you have a lot of rings, once you have a lot more success with just building a team right away, maybe not through the most honorable way, to say it for lack of a better terms, I think that has just gained more notoriety than these other accolades, these other ways of doing it, where Tom Brady clearly values it more so than others. But that just also has to do with social media and also how he brought it up, really playing a factor in all of this, because everybody sees things, everybody comments on everything. It just adds more pressure to these organizations, and you see it very rarely with some teams in the NFL, like the Steelers, for an example, the Chiefs, the Ravens, and I guess the 49ers now starting to get more into it. These organizations that more so than not try to build a culture, try to build an identity rather than maybe not being as successful in recent years. I guess just the Steelers to take it from those three teams. But the 49ers constantly in the championship conversation. The Ravens also always there. The Chiefs, I don't really have to talk about them. They're always in the conversation. These teams that have an identity already built up, it's no secret as to why they're always in the conversation for having a great team, having a great culture. Even if they might not have the best players, they always end up being the teams with the better results. And that's sort of where it all falls in line here. Not that many examples, so not many teams do it. Many teams just try to find the quickest solution right away. And it is intriguing. It is exciting if you can hit on it. Like I mentioned, look at the Houston Texans, how exciting their team is now. But I think the more reliable way, the harder way for sure, is doing it how these other organizations have done it. Not too many people put value in that, but I think at the same time, if you really invest in it, it will produce the best results in the end. So that's where this all sort of stems with what Tom Brady was saying. It is the culture we find ourselves in now and how everybody views it, but it is what it is. I think the teams, the organizations just have to really buy into providing more time to these coaches and these quarterbacks rather than looking out for themselves in a way and trying to find the best results for them to just try not to get fired instead of developing a quarterback. Maybe you're not the guy to do it, to take them to that next step, but you're definitely a massive piece in the puzzle to try and build the organization into something bigger. That's where it all, really is at this point. It is a hard thing to buy into, but Tom Brady has brought it up, and I think more people will start to talk about it, but at the end of the day, each organization will do it how they view it, and, taking advice from Tom Brady, I don't think it'd ever be a bad thing. So leave your thoughts on this situation, what Tom Brady said. Do you guys agree? And maybe you guys have a different offer for a solution, but that's really where I thought best that this could go in return. We're going to talk about more offense, the Las Vegas Raiders offense specifically, and how their best addition to this offense was actually their offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, and how important he will be to them succeeding in 2024. So I'll get into the details of that when we return in just a few seconds.